Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hang on.
Can you hear me better
Now
now?
now I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Well,
Bit
thank you for
nervous.
coming.
Bit,
I
yeah, I'm a
appreciate it.
bit nervous about this grilling.
Do you think it's going to be a grilling? No. I wanted it to be a little fun.
Yeah, sure.
Does this look familiar to you?
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah, you want to tell us about it?
I believe that's a horse actually that I ran in Dubai. I think it is. Called Crowded House, named after the band Crowded House.
Awesome. Oh, very nice. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
No, he ran in America, he ran in England, and he ran in Dubai.
Very cool.
So,
It's so good to put a face with a voice now.
oh.
All the women will be nicer to you now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. I've been on camera before, but a while back, I think.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I've already read up on you, but that's boring. I'd rather hear it from you and not tabloid. So
Sure. Well, I was born, 1968. My father was actually a trainer, and my parents split up when I was 5, I think, and we moved to Scotland and lived with my grandfather for a couple of years. My mother remarried. We moved to London, and we had a house in London and a house in the countryside. And I went to boarding school from age 9, which is quite common in England. And I didn't work very hard in school. I spent more time reading the racing newspapers and that kind of thing, because that was my main interest.
you were interested in it pretty early then.
Yeah. And then left school. I did a kind of trip around the world. I worked in Australia. I worked in Hong Kong.
Oh, nice.
And went back to England for a bit and worked for a couple of people back there. And then I came out here originally for a year and a half. And that was 30, coming up 32 years ago.
You've been in California 32 years. Is that right?
Yeah. Always California, always around this area. I'm kind of Pasadena. Santa Anita is the racetrack where I train my horses. And I live in Pasadena, so it's about 6 miles from here.
So do you still get out there and do the stable lad work, or?
Oh no, I did all that when I was young. I haven't done that in a long time, thankfully. But no, I mean it's a very easy job in some ways. It can be stressful, if something goes wrong with a horse, that kind of thing. Overall, it's basically, I'm basically like a personal trainer telling someone what to do, because I have riders and grooms and hot walkers that basically do all the work, and I oversee it.
Right.
And I do work 7 days a week, but I get up at 4:50, and I'm normally home sort of 10, 11 o'clock if I'm not running something. That's it for the day. So
yeah,
it's not a bad life.
So do you gamble?
I don't. I mean, I probably would a couple of times a year, but then I have quite a large bet, and it's always on one of mine. But I could sit there at the races and bet all day long, and I'd be broke by now.
What do you look for when you go to bet for on a horse and a jockey?
Well, from my own personal standpoint, it's my horse, so I know how it's doing. And if I think it's in the right spot, that's when I'll bet. And as I say, it's once, twice a year, and then they'd normally win or do very well. And I wouldn't bet a horse under like 5-1 as well, because then the return is not very good, and at 5-1 you can lose a couple of bets, But if you win one, you've got more than your money back. So,
Do you go back home often to England?
I do. I go a couple of times a year. Normally in December, there's a big horse sale. And I also sometimes will go at Christmas, but I always go back in the summer for Royal Ascot, which is quite special. My wife, who's American, loves it. She gets to wear a hat and a dress. I have to wear a top hat and tailcoat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's, you don't feel like an idiot. Everyone else is wearing the same thing. And the Queen, in the Queen's Day, the Queen went every day. They come down the course in the carriage, and it's a pretty special occasion.
I bet it's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really nice.
So how do you feel about, since she's passed, the Queen, the climate over there?
Well, I mean, it seems to be in a bit of a mess. I think they're on the third prime minister in about 6 weeks. I think the Queen was fantastic. I don't think anyone will live up to that. Charles has kind of burnt a few bridges on the way. I almost think it would have been better just passing it to the next generation. But as I say, I don't think, once the Queen died, I kind of figured it would never be the same again.
Very sad, very sad.
Yeah. No, she was an amazing woman. I mean, whether you like the monarchy or not, she did a lot for
very strong
England.
woman.
Yeah, she did a lot for England. There's no doubt.
So I know a lot of people are probably wanting to know, what brings you to true crime?
Good question. Well, I mean, 3.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, well, I'm fine with it. And I honestly, when I was diagnosed, I honestly didn't expect to be around more than a few months, but here I am 3.5 years later.
Well, I'm glad you are.
And I'm doing very well, and I go to work every day, and but obviously the reason I do get tired, so I do spend quite a lot of time in bed. I do my work, come home, and then a lot of the rest of the afternoon I'm in bed. And I kind of got into the Brown Laundry case originally, and I was glued to that. It was fascinating, and then whilst I was watching that led into the Summer Wells case, which again was fascinating. But as time went on, there was nothing, no new information on the Summers Wells case, and there hasn't really been for months. So I think we all got into this rabbit hole we're all in right now.
Right. We're on the edge of our seats waiting for Dawn to get out and to see who's going to pounce first. What is your opinion of creators being involved in true crime, starting with the Bdac case? How do you feel about that?
I have mixed feelings. It's great to watch, but the reality is none of them have ever solved a case before. And they probably never will. They're not going to have the same amount of information as the police have.
Right.
So it's going to be very hard. I think, I was kind of disgusted with, and you can think what you want about Brown Laundrie and his parents with, all the people outside the house screaming at the house all the time and that kind of thing. And I feel a bit the same way with what's going on now. I don't think it's, these people aren't going to make a difference. I don't know what they're doing, hanging outside someone's house, screaming and yelling. It should just be left to the police.
It's sort of like the old adage of run them out of town. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think so, but I think you just got to let the police do their job. I mean, no one else has the same amount of information as they do, even in the Wells case. So all these people, the amount of stuff that's been found, not to be true, that all these creators keep coming up with. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's fine to cover a case, but I don't think anyone's really going to solve it.
Yeah.
Except for the police. I mean, the first person I watched actually was Jay for Justice. and I still watch her from time to time. She's actually, she's very good, and she's not really trying to solve a case. She's really covering cases.
Okay, so how do you feel your involvement in it contributes, negatively or positively?
In true crime, I'm not, there's nothing I can do. I'm in California. These crimes are so far away. I really don't think I'm helping that at all. I'm just watching like everyone else, trying to see what happens.
Right.
It's really an interest, but as I say, I just think it's very hard for anyone that doesn't have the same information as the police have to solve these crimes.
Right. So we're all sort of riding around in our Scooby-Doo van, huh?
Yeah. No, I think so.
From one chat to the other.
Wouldn't Dolly, Bullhorn Betty be better off, searching around the area? I mean, in woods or that kind of thing. Wouldn't that be better than standing outside someone's house yelling?
I don't know.
How would you feel if it was in your neighborhood and it was going on,
all
day long?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, my daughter was murdered, and I did yell, and I did have to get into the media to get justice. So, from that perspective, I have an emotional attachment to that. So, I'm all for vigilantism if it gets results.
Right. No, I agree, but I think that's slightly different. These people are, in my opinion, just the amount of money they've made down there, that's really what they're in it for.
Okay.
I don't think there's any real personal interest in necessarily solving the case. It's, for their channel.
Let's see here. So how do you feel about the conspiracy theories that are surrounding true crime, that some of them are scripts?
I don't believe that. I am not, as I think I said to Team Rose, I am not a conspiracy theorist at all.
You're not 007.
No, I look into things, but I prefer to deal in facts, and I see no facts whatsoever. Like the Keeley case, they were all saying that was all made up. There's no proof of any of this. So yeah, I don't believe it.
Okay. And are there daily auditions that happen in YouTube channels? Like
daily auditions?
Yeah, like do producers come into chats and look for talent, scout talent?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No, I think there's, as you know, my wife is a producer. She can't stand YouTube.
Does she scout
play
though?
No, she doesn't. No, because they have talent scouts to do that.
So we can all pack up and go home now. We're not going to get discovered here.
I'm not saying there aren't people that don't do it. I think Justin Bieber was found on YouTube or something like that. So yeah, there definitely are people that do it, but I don't think you're going to suddenly see Dolly have a late night with Dolly. He's going to be taking over that kind of thing. I just don't see it happening.
Okay, another one here is, do you go into any game shows?
Game shows?
Like game shows on YouTube? I don't know.
No.
Okay, and then I'm reading questions that I've been given over the week. Why did you choose to mod for Ernie?
What, the second time or the first time?
Now.
Because, I didn't choose to. Ernie made me a mod. What do I think of everything that's going on at the moment? I know a lot of you, for one, and a lot of people think, no, this is all some script or production or something.
We need a new script.
I just, as you know, I was with Ernie. In the beginning, I modded for Ernie. I supported him. I think he went way off path, way off the right track. And I see now, I think MAGA is a big help to Ernie. I want to see Ernie do well. I do think Ernie's got a lot of talent if it's pointed in the right direction, but it hasn't been. And I think the one person that can probably do it is MAGA. The T-shirts, people were waiting, promised them 6-8 months ago. In my opinion, it's MAGA that got it done. MAGA is the one mailing them out. And I think it's, I do see a bit of a change. He's not, constantly asking for money. He's not coming up with schemes to get money, which is great. And as I say, I think he's got talent, but it's in the wrong direction and has been for a long time.
Do you think that he was close to getting Candace to talk?
No, personally, no, I don't. I think if anyone probably had been able to do it, it would have been Benny. I think once the whole Benny thing happened, Candace was too smart. She wasn't going to fall for the same trick twice. I think if anyone had got there, it would have been Benny, and he didn't.
Right. So how do you think that's going to play out when he gets out? How do you foresee that in your own opinion?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, I don't know if they'll be together or what the situation will be. I can't see, any hope of them getting those kids back, and it certainly shouldn't happen.
I agree.
So it will be very interesting. And I'm sure the police will be monitoring him to see what's going on. So it could be interesting.
So how did you stumble upon Ernie the first time?
Actually, I think when I first got into the Summer Wells case, I used to watch PG, Prayer Garden.
Oh yeah.
And Ernie appeared on there a couple of times. And so I started watching it was just when his YouTube channel was starting, I think. So I watched him a little bit, and that's how I got into him. And
you were impressed with what?
Well, I couldn't say I was madly impressed, but like a lot of people, in the beginning, I got into him, I felt kind of bad for him. I knew he was a little bit of a bullshitter, which, is fine. But I did feel a little sorry for him because he was being attacked by a lot of people already and bullied. So, I used to go into beat Benny's chat and kind of stop the bullying and that kind of thing. And, I did support him for quite a long time.
Yeah, I knew you were a mod there originally, I guess a year ago when all this started with Summer Wells. So did you start with Ernie when he was with Predator Hunter Nation?
No, well, he was still at Predator. I don't think it was till like Christmas time or something, or before I became a mod.
Yeah.
I can't really remember the time. I'm not very good on my time frames these days.
I think you're right. I think it was like around Thanksgiving or something like that.
Yeah.
I started to fall into it. And you were a mod, so yeah.
Right.
So let's see. I'm going to look at some of the questions that I was given. How do you feel about things politically? How do you stand politically in California? There's a lot of homeless. There's a lot of homeless there, and
yeah,
I've done a show about it. Go ahead.
In England, I'm a conservative. I definitely a Republican out here. I think it wouldn't cost that much money to get these people in some kind of homes. A lot, unfortunately, I think do have mental issues or drug issues. So there needs to be, hospitals or rehab facilities built to take care of those kind of people, because that's one of the big reasons there are a lot of homeless people. Mm-hmm. Part of it, I agree, is people not getting jobs, but a large percentage, I think, is drug addiction and mental issues.
Has fentanyl hit your area like it has a lot of other areas?
Well, I don't
Contribute
see
a lot.
I don't see it personally, but I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's all over the country.
Mm-hmm. How do you think that we can, as people in YouTube and as creators, contribute to society that's in a positive way that can make a difference and leave a legacy?
That's a good question. I think. I think the true crime community itself is probably, not necessarily doing the right thing. I don't, as I say, I don't see cases being solved by anyone on here. I think it's, basically to keep people informed of the news. I do think, as you suggested in the past, getting, raising money for some charity. Personally, I think it's too hard to try and take on yourself because, you'll be accused of
Oh yeah, definitely.
scamming and scamming, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even.
I think finding a good charity that, the whole true crime community could get behind would be a good thing.
When you see this happening in your area and having the political ties across the ocean and here, how do you think you could better serve your area and your community as Ben Cecil?
Good question. The problem I have, as I say, is I work and then I'm pretty tired.
Should I wait for you to have a drink?
No, how could I better serve? Well, obviously, homelessness is a big problem. And there
do you do philanthropy?
I do some, yes. Both my wife and I do. I don't, when you stop at the traffic lights around here, I don't give money to those people because, to me, it's probably going for the wrong reasons, and that's not going to help these people.
Okay, so you were here probably, if you were in Australia in the 80s, then you probably came to the USA right when they were releasing mentally ill patients from state-funded institutions, and you probably saw those close.
Yeah, well, I did. Wasn't that during the Ronald Reagan?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I wasn't here. I didn't get here till 91. So I think it probably was already done by then.
Do you think that was a mistake?
Oh, definitely. But I also think some of those mental institutes, needed to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Now you have people living in like halfway houses and that kind of in neighborhoods that, which in some cases I don't think is very safe.
Yeah, the
thing
idea of mainstreaming them makes no sense to me.
No.
They need to be segregated for their own safety.
But it's the same with, the immigration policies. You get criminals coming over here. I think there was a case the other day where a guy ran over and killed 3 or 4 kids and ran back to Mexico and disappeared.
I'm sure that happens all the time.
And there have been people murdered by illegal immigrants. And I think, the whole immigration system, I'm here because of immigration, obviously. But I think the whole system needs reforming.
Right. It was a different time back then when you were coming over, right? Wasn't it sort of a different process?
Well, no, it wasn't easy. I got a year and a half and I kept having to renew that. And finally I got married. And I'm not a U.S. citizen. I never will be.
So you got an anchor wife?
What's that? No, definitely not. No. I actually had a green card before I got married.
She's beautiful. I saw pictures of her. She's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was.
You're asking in chat if you're married, so I had to throw that out there. She's beautiful too.
Beautiful, and she's been, when I married her, she was like working her up way up in television, and she's done amazing. She produced The Big Bang Theory.
One of my favorites.
And she's producing a show right now called Bob Hart's Abishola, which is on a Monday night on CBS. I'll give it a plug while I'm on here. But yeah, so she's, you know, she basically works for Chuck Lorre, who's one of the biggest, you know, creators of sitcoms on television.
Right, 2.5
So she's very lucky. 2.5 Men, those kind of things. Yeah, so she's been very lucky.
That's awesome. So do you go to red carpet events?
I do. She was nominated for an Emmy. So I've been to the Emmys. I've been to the Golden Globes.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was great fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, actually, you know, when I go to the studio sometimes, the people they're all very nice, I must say.
So my husband has a question for you. He wants to know, he read that the new king will sell some of the queen's horses. Will you add any to your stable?
No, I've actually had one that I bought off the queen in the past at a horse sale over there. But probably not. No, as I say, I'm kind of retiring, so I'm winding down. I used to have sort of 40 horses. I'm down to about 15 now, just so it's a little less stressful.
So what draws you to a chat?
What draws me to a chat? Good question. Well, I think the problem is we all, you know, we're on sides, probably right from the beginning. I was on Ernie's side, then I wasn't. And
well, there's red and blue, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, that's it.
Blue. I mean, you know, it's life.
And it shouldn't. It shouldn't really be like that. But unfortunately, it is. And people, you know, I mean, for instance, I'll mention Jen Mail South. Her, you know, she'd attack me and I'd attack her back. And
you take it with such stride, just like a gentleman.
And now, you know, now we're absolutely fine. At least for the moment anyway. But, you know, and we're all, let's face it, we're all normal human beings. We're entitled to different opinions, I think.
Right.
Right. But, you know, some people, there is too much blocking because you don't agree, you know, you don't agree with what someone says.
Now that's what I enjoy about Rose's channel, where she has no mods and she doesn't care who comes in.
She's blocked me, but yeah, she did, but that's okay.
I'm sure that's only temporary. I know that she likes the common lottery.
I think the problem is she doesn't know how to unblock now, so I'm kind of stuck.
She keeps it spicy, doesn't she?
Yeah. She's very entertaining, I must say. She, you know, I wish she'd calm down a bit sometimes, but that's her.
I think she's been going about 12 hours straight right now.
Yeah.
I woke up to her and went to sleep to her. So
well, Mama T yesterday, I think, was about 8-9 hours. That was a pretty amazing live. I certainly couldn't. And, you know, from my standpoint, I don't, you know, I would never really think about having a channel because, you know, you've got to do a lot of research for it. You've got to put up with a lot of
to do it for you.
You put up with a lot of haters.
Yes.
You know, to me, it's just not worth it. I get enough people hating me not having my own channel, so I'll stick to it.
I have a question here for you. My brother is asking, I'd like to know what he thinks about the banning of fox hunting, especially since the fox population is growing in suburban areas.
I was definitely in favor of fox hunting. And, you know, London, foxes are right in central London now. And, they are a menace. So yeah, I'm definitely not in favor of ban, and I would think it'll be reversed at some point. I went hunting a couple of times as a kid. I never really got that into it. And it is, it is a little barbaric. They literally rip those fox to shreds. And then when you go for the first time, they actually take blood and put the blood of the fox on your face.
That sounds Native American almost.
Yeah, which I actually had done.
Wow.
But it's like pheasant shooting. I used to, when I grew up, we'd go pheasant shooting as a kid, and I couldn't do it now. I couldn't kill animals anymore. Whereas in those days, growing up, we'd go out in the field in the Land Rover and with the headlights on, and rabbit shooting with a 2.2 rifle, and these rabbits with the headlights would freeze when they see the headlights, and so they were easy targets. And I used to think it was great fun, but again, I couldn't do it anymore.
Wow.
For the last 30-40 years, there's no way I could do it.
Your son, what types of things do y'all do together?
Oh, lots of things. I mean, I've got a son and a daughter. They both do a lot of sports. So my son is soccer at the weekends. They both do tennis, I think 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, wow.
Which is great, because to me, tennis is a sport you can play for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
We go on trips and go away for the weekend. Sometimes we go on holiday. So yeah, I am very blessed in a lot of ways, and have been for most of my life.
So tell me this newfound hatred you have for Jimbo. What's that all about?
I've never been a fan of Jimbo, even when he was going against Danny.
But wait a minute. Do you think that your dolly camped outside his house?
Do you think what? No.
Your proverbially dolly camped outside his house?
No.
Maybe. Yes, you are. You have to run him out of town, and Dolly ain't either.
What do I think? I don't trust him. If you look at his part, he comes across as this great family man, and I'm sure he is reasonable with his family, but he has a history. If you listen to the Murder for Hire with Ernie, there are a number of things in his past that make me question him in a big way. He actually admitted he has oxys the other night, Oxycontin.
Okay, but in the grand scheme of life, you're not going to sway anyone, just like Dolly.
No, I'm not.
Do you see the similarities in the analogy
I do see the parallel, yes. No, and I think, it's better for me just to stay away from it. If you don't like someone, avoid them.
Just don't go in their chat.
Yeah.
So
good advice. Yeah.
When you're looking for, let's say a new creator has come on board, what are you looking for your entertainment?
I think just generally entertainment and informative.
But what's entertainment to you? Drama?
It can be, or it can be. I'm in, as I say, like J for Justice covers mostly factual crime.
Yeah.
I think these people that sit there and talk about allegedly this and allegedly that, and this is a conspiracy. This is one of these conspiracy theories. It's a complete fake. I'm not big into hearing that. I'd rather hear just the plain facts. Obviously, no one has the facts the police have, but just in general, what we know. I remember the Brown Laundry case. There was a photo of the backyard, and the people said there was a hand reaching out of a flower bed that they guessed was him. That kind of thing is not factual.
That reminds me of when they saw Elvis at the Kalamazoo Burger King right after he died.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some preacher or somewhere that people swear is Elvis still.
Yes.
I think I've seen him on Betty Washington.
That's where it is. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
you know, all those kind of things. You know, why would Elvis fake his death?
I'm sure there's reasons. Maybe you got someone pregnant. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, that's a big thing to do.
Yeah. Tax evasion.
Well, but you know, the money still goes somewhere, doesn't it? It goes to your next of kin, and you know, you're not going to have it.
Right, probate or whatever. So does Chat have any? I'm going to ask Chat. Do y'all have any questions y'all want me to ask him? Hurry up, Operation someone is saying that they were Dragon Mama. I was prescribed oxys when I had a hernia surgery. Okay, so maybe he has those because he's had.
Well, I think that I'm actually going to my doctor's this Friday. I think I'm about to be prescribed them myself. So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. We'll put prayers in the chat for you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing good. And as I say, I've had such a blessed life. I can't complain. You know, I've been so lucky all my life. I've never really had to worry about anything, and you know, there are so many people that couldn't even dream of the life I've had. So you know, I've no regrets, and you know, I've been very lucky. So,
okay, LB is asking any outlandish rumors about Bdac that he would like to address. I've heard a few wild ones.
The only one I'd really say, well, first of all, I'm not a child trafficker, which has been said. I'm not a pedophile. The other one that, I drug my horses to win races because during my 25-year career, training racehorses, I did have one medication violation, which cost me $5,000, and it was actually, I had a very nervous horse. It was high strung in the morning, so we high strung horses, so they don't overdo it every day. We give it a little pill of tranquilizer called Ace Promazine, and this filly was on it for quite a long period of time leading up to the race, and we may have stopped a little closer than we should have done, so it showed up positive. Now, it's an actual tranquilizer, so it's not going to make a horse run any faster. If anything, it'll make it run slower, but you're supposed to stop 5 days out, and I'm not sure that my guy that does the medication didn't give it 4 days out or 3 days out by mistake. I took the blame for it. I paid the fine. As I say, it would not make your horse win a race. If anything, it would make your horse run last. The horse actually did finish second. But to say I drug my horses to win races was a little bit too much.
Well,
one instance in 2,500, 3,000 horses. So
would you have done it to take a dive?
No, I never would. If a lot of horses do get tested, the first three finishes, and sometimes they randomly test. So you cannot have anything in their system.
I saw here where that was a problem for you, thinking that there was too much drugs in the sport. Is that the jockey or both, animal and?
Oh no, it's just the horse. In England, you're not allowed to use a lot of the stuff you are here. It's becoming less here now, which is a good thing. But yeah, in England, you can't give a horse anything essentially to run on. Here, we give Lasix, which is to stop a horse from internal bleeding. Some horses from the stress and everything will bleed out of their nostrils. Like you or I, if you went for a run, you know how you can taste blood in the back of your throat.
Yes.
It's a similar kind of thing. So we give Lasix to stop that. Nowhere else in the world are you allowed to do that.
How did you come in to know Liz Gaspari?
That's another conspiracy. I don't really know her at all. Obviously,
but she is a show producer.
Is she? No, she's not a show
Pretty sure,
producer.
no? I'm asking.
No, she produces, I think,
Housewives?
dietary supplements and
I thought she was a cast
it's,
member on the Housewives. I
oh
couldn't
yeah,
even.
she may have been on the Real
Molly.
Housewives, but Real Housewives of Florida or something. But she, her claim to fame is Gaspari Nutrition, which is her company and where she's made all her money.
Right. Were you familiar with her product when you were active? No.
No, she sent out samples to quite a few creators.
Okay.
I never saw.
How did you feel
I never got any.
I'd love to have a belly trimmer. So, how did you feel about Benny's when he did his little infomercial from the pool? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I've never been a big Benny fan.
No, it sounded like you were in the beginning.
I was an Ernie fan, and I went into BK's chat to basically tell him stop harassing Ernie.
Okay.
Back in the day, and I never really joined BK as such. When I left Ernie, I kind of drifted over to Rap when Rap was just starting.
Okay.
And I stayed with Rap for quite a while, and then some of the things got a bit too much for me, and so then I kind of took my slightly more middle ground on things. I didn't like, I couldn't have sat there and laughed at, him being tasered or anything like that.
So you think that was a real event that?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. And Rap, would you consider him a troll channel currently? I know that he's trying to transition to true crime.
I don't think Rap's keen on transitioning to true crime. I think it was just, some of that is more to get back at Benny, by having Jody Sue on there. Do I considering him a troll channel? I don't know. Again, his whole channel was created about Ernie. Now they get on reasonably well. So, it'll be interesting to see what direction he takes.
Did anybody else have any more questions? On the screen. Sarah says, can we have some sort of common ground to help stop the spread of rumors, or at least choose our words carefully and state a rumor if it is one? Is Sarah smart?
Yeah, I think, I do think that'd be a very good idea. Facts are facts. And there are a lot of rumors, coming from both sides. So, I agree. I don't know how you do it.
Do you think that this is the new daytime drama?
It is kind of like that. But as I say, it wasn't for me in the beginning. I don't know how we wound up, how we got here from the true crime community. How did we wind up in this kind of war between two different groups?
It almost we tried.
And the thing is that if you actually sit down and talk to people, I mean, one-on-one, I saw it yesterday on Mama T's channel. If you actually converse we're all just normal people.
Yeah.
Jen Mail, as I say, would call me every name under the sun. Now I'm
take it with such pride.
Well, that's it. And why do we, as I think you said before, why do we, put, ourselves up for these people, and fight a war for them that really is no war? No, Jen Mail and I are fine now. Ricky and I are fine now.
This is what has been a psychological trip for me, is how much we will white knight for a creator we've never met, but we won't white knight for ourselves politically.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and that's what I meant. You've been saying that for a while. But one thing I disagree on you. This is not, definitely, in my opinion, anyway, definitely not scripted. Now, I don't, my only suspicion was, in the beginning, the whole Jimbo and Ernie thing. could have been scripted, but I don't think so now. I did have questions when when they first started attacking each other, because Jimbo went from attacking Ernie to then supporting him, and the problem I have is if Jimbo knew all this stuff, why did he continue to support Ernie? If all this stuff is so true, and I didn't agree whatsoever with the way he talked about MAGA and her kid. I thought that was that's not something that needs to be brought out on the internet. So so I had my suspicions that it was all for views and that kind of thing, but I don't think that is the case now.
Okay, Sarah asks, does he think there are creators working behind the scenes? And a comment is by Couponing with Donna. I could just sit and listen to him all day.
Oh, thank you.
I just don't like some of the things he says during arguments.
Right.
And then,
I think, Sarah, I think, I don't think, as I said, as answer to your question, I suspected the whole Ernie and Jimbo might have been drumming this fight up for the drama. I wonder in the past some things have happened to build up drama, but now at this point I don't. I'm sure in some other channels they do drum up drama because drama's what gets people to watch it. Unfortunately, if you sit there and go over it, when Ernie did his couple of shows months back just on general awareness, teaching his techniques, no one was watching him. People watch the drama. If you watch Jimbo now, since the last few shows, he hasn't done drama. He's gone from like 180 viewers down to about 20.
Do you think that we're using it as a time filler to see what happens when Don gets out? And we've just kind of been keeping ourselves entertained until this week when he finally does, and let's see what happens.
I think so, but I think there are a lot of people watching that aren't really into that. They are more into drama.
Okay. Do you think that he will return to YouTube, Don Wells?
I think if he's smart, he probably won't, because he will flip up, especially if he's high. And to me, they may act stupid, but I think they're criminal smart to have gotten away with this for so long. And high as a kite, they don't seem to be giving any answers.
What do you think about some creators that do go live high?
Yeah, I've seen that, and I think I know who you're talking about.
There's a few.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the 60s in here, actually.
I have never, thankfully, I've never been addicted. I've never done drugs, and I can only imagine, once you start, how hard it is to get off them. So, it's a very sad and very harmful thing. I've seen so many lives destroyed by it, and people killed by these things, and it's horrendous. And that's why I'm very glad I smoked a joint. I think one time with my wife.
Bill Clinton.
I had a couple. I had a couple of puffs when when I was dating my wife and she was living in Santa Monica.
And you didn't
I remember
know.
I did, and I went to bed, and the whole room started spinning, and next thing I knew, I threw up. So that was it.
Oh wow. Okay, so here's another question. See here. Do you have any hardcore proof of what you have been told about the stand? Is it possible that it might not be true?
Well, I think anything's possible. I think I do have a lot of questions. I mean, why did Ocean Lover drive down to get cash off Jimbo? Why couldn't she just got a PayPal or a Cash App? My guess is it wasn't cash. Because I think she, Jimbo said she borrowed $350 off her. Now you don't drive from Ohio to Kentucky. Why not just get send it by Cash App? Or, Ocean Lover has now proved herself, probably to be a complete scam artist.
Jim L. South says these are interactive soap operas. And the Stan says, I supported my friend. Ernie needs help. I've always said that.
Well, then, why? The only thing I'd say to that is, why are you attacking his relationship with MAGA?
Okay, this is Sweet Melissa says, to me, Bdac has always been the mediator for the longest time. I enjoyed, he always saw things from all sides.
Oh, thank you, Sweet Melissa. No, there's as I say, I kind of left. I took a more middle ground a few months back because it just got, too hateful. And there are a lot of people, that I've never had a problem with that are disliked by, by both sides. So, I kind of tend to do my own thing now.
The Stan says he'd rather have the 20 than the drama. And Sarah says 20-year-old real viewers that don't want drama is better than 300 drooling for it.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. Everyone to themselves. I'm not saying I disagree with Jimbo on that, but as I say, he will not be. I won't be signing up for a membership soon. He probably wouldn't have me anyway.
Let's see if I've missed any. Do you smoke?
I do, yeah. And actually, when I was diagnosed, a friend of mine was actually, I'd had 2 hernia surgeries, and they missed, the cause of the pain. And so I called a friend of mine who is an oncologist, and she said, "We'll come in tomorrow, and we'll run some tests." So I went in. She came in the room and told me. She was actually bawling. My wife was bawling. I was the only one kind of trying to calm them down. And I said, "Well, I smoked for 30 years. This is what you get from it." And she said, "No, it's got nothing to do with smoking." So, when I originally thought maybe I had 6 months a year, I didn't. I thought, why am I going to be miserable for a year giving up smoking? Which it can be. So unfortunately, I've continued. I don't smoke as much as I used to, but yes, I do still smoke.
Horses out of the picture. What would your ideal career have been? Holy moly is asking.
I think, I always like the music business. I love music. So, my guess is probably that would have been, I listen to a lot of music, really enjoy music. So yeah, I would probably have gone into the music business.
Who are some of your all-time faves?
Who are some of my all-time favorites? Well, I love like Coldplay, Radiohead. Of the older stuff, probably. Elton John. I have such a wide range. I can listen to anything from classical to heavy metal.
Who have you seen live?
Oh, I've seen Pink Floyd. I've been to a ton of concerts. Pink Floyd. I saw the Police back in the day, and then I saw them on the reunion. Who have I seen? The Cure. A bunch. I do go to quite a lot of concerts.
Can you play an instrument?
I used to play my mother bought me every instrument while I was at school because I was quite musical. The only problem was I never learned to read the music. A bit like my son who's plays piano, and I'm not sure he reads music, but he can hear a song and he'll go and play it straight away on the piano. He's amazing at it. He's 12. He's 12 and my daughter is 13. And my son was actually born at 25 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he weighed 1 pound, 8 ounces. And, he was 4 months in hospital. He went through sort of 4 surgeries. I really didn't think he was going to make it. And he's 12 years old. You wouldn't know anything had ever happened. It's amazing. I give a lot of credit to the NICU here, and NICUs everywhere. I mean, they save these kids.
You're telling me the stand has an answer for you here somewhere, and I'm looking for it. Okay, here it is. I told her I only had cash. I didn't want to send it, period. Told her my cards weren't working. Have every excuse I could. I didn't think she'd drive down. She did. I knew I wouldn't be repaid.
Right. No, I think it's very sad the way, so many different people were obviously conned by her. I know Jimbo raised a lot of money with his board that he put up. I know Nicolina, raised a lot. I think other channels did as well. And the problem is when someone really needs money now, it's very hard for them to get it because people just don't trust them. So no, it is sad, that people can't be trusted.
Alicia is asking, I would like to see a time where all creators and chat members can be in one room together and everyone say hello to each other. Do you see that ever happening?
Yeah, I think I certainly saw a bit of that in Mama T's yesterday. I think once people realize that they are, that they're not as bad as that when you read them in the chat, or we are all human beings. So I think once you actually meet people in real life, maybe on screen or talk to people, you'll understand that they're not as bad as you think they are.
Alicia Turner is asking, Bdac, do you know who Oliver Trevena is?
I don't, but I'd be interested. I don't. Who is?
Just gonna send up a moment to.
No, I think the discussion I think it was Tinkerbell Tina on Mama T's was yesterday. For anyone that stayed to the end of her 8-hour marathon live was very eye-opening and good, and it just shows the difference between people is not that drastic.
What kind of car do you drive? Linda Hansen asks.
I drive a Tesla, a Tesla Model S. Yeah, it's actually the fastest car in the world now, 0 to 60.
And what's the fastest you've gotten it? We won't tell.
No, well, it does 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds.
Dang.
Because it's electric. I did, previous to that, have my dream car, which was an Aston Martin. But, and I love that. But, which is the original James Bond car. But, having had that, I'd much prefer the Tesla to drive, and it's more comfortable.
Daisy Joe is asking, Gypsy, please ask him if he believes in God, as in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel.
Yes, I do. I went to church every day at school when I was young. Do I go to church now? No. If I'm in England, I'll go at Christmas. So I'm not really religious, but I do definitely believe.
Okay, well, I've picked your brain for about a good hour, guys. What do y'all think?
Well, no problem at all.
I appreciate you coming and showing your face. It's always good to...
That's a younger version of me.
He put a little ding in your teeth there. Watch this.
Yeah, and I must say your picture that you had on the trailer thing was me when I was a little younger. That was at Ascot with my top hat. Yeah.
I have one.
You wanted to show something?
Yeah.
What did you want to show?
The Del Mar Turf was very firm. To me, his best race was Golden Gate, in April when the grass was long. And
they come for home now, and it's Fernelli getting the advantage. All I can say is wow and lethal heat. but it's going to be Fern Nelly to come home and win the Del Mar Mile.
We won the Woodbine Mile, there'd be no question. We'll take some of the money, the prize money that we won up there. And
More than to close out the year in the Breeders' Cup Winner's Circle.
Can you hear me now?
The Del Mar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a horse called Fernley, and he raced mostly in California. He went to Hong Kong to run. He went to Toronto to run and Dubai to run. So
If he likes them,
Wow.
he's well traveled.
You want to ask what?
ask him if he likes Del Mar.
Do you like Del Mar?
Oh yes, I do. Well, I used to like it when I was younger in my kind of more wild days. Now it's, my family are up here. I do move all my horses down there for the summer, but obviously I'd rather be home with the family.
Right.
And now I've cut back. I don't spend, and I've got great help who have been with me, 15, 20 years, some of them. So I'm able to not be there the whole time. So I don't have to miss my family as much.
Do you feel like right now, like you really don't have much time left and you're in your last stretch?
No, the way I feel right now, and as long as everything, I get checked every month, my numbers, and they are holding steady, and so long as it's not spreading, that's about all I can ask for. But no, I don't, and I'm not. I'll be on. The hardest thing for me has always been my kids, and I've never told my kids that it is, terminal. So that really is the hardest thing. I'm not worried about myself. I've had, as I say, I've had such a blessed life. If it happened in 2 months, I've been so lucky. But the hardest thing for me is my kids. It's going to be obviously very hard on them.
Realizing your own mortality is hard, isn't it? When you have children, it takes on a whole new meaning when you have someone that you're going to leave behind.
No, it does, and it I'm not scared of it at all. Even when the doctor told me, I was kind of fine. I kind of expected the news to be bad, and I was the one calming down my wife and the doctor. So yeah, it's once you know it's coming sooner than you expected, you kind of get used to it.
Do you feel like you're getting good health care in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, no, I have. I go to UST hospital in here in California, and they've been amazing. And the people there are just so nice. The nurses, and you walk in there, they're so friendly, and it's great, and they do everything. I'm very, very lucky. And that's the hard thing is you've got a lot of people that don't have insurance here, whereas in England everyone is covered. So it's again, I'm very lucky, and a lot of people aren't.
I have asked you before, someone with your stature, why aren't you out and about and that sort of thing? Is it because of your health care provider being there locally?
How do you mean? How am I not out and about doing stuff? What?
Well, like I would be on cruises. I wouldn't be in YouTube chat. I would be out whining and dining.
Oh no,
social.
Oh no, I do, but I do still work. I do still, I go. We're planning to try and go away for a few days after Christmas. Planning to go to England next summer and probably the Caribbean.
Okay, well that sounds good.
Yeah, no, we do it, but my wife works. She gets 2 months off a year, and the rest is pretty solid. So we can, do May and June, and that's about it. Unless
when
I
you
go
go
off
on
by
these
myself.
trips, will you take YouTube with you?
No, no, definitely not. Well, this summer I was actually in England and then Spain, and I'm not sure if I got on. I might have got on one time in the 3 weeks I was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not. It's not. It is addictive, I must say, but I didn't miss it.
Did I hear you say something about Dubai?
Yeah.
What's that like?
I actually went there 4 times for a week each time, and it's amazing. I mean, it's a bit like Las Vegas on steroids.
Okay.
You can only drink in hotels, but there are ways they get around that. The beaches were actually, I was surprised how nice they were. No, it was great. And it was really like any other country.
What's your favorite place to go to on vacation?
I love the Cayman Islands
Cayman
in the Caribbean. Yeah.
So you like hot weather?
Yeah, I love. Well, when we normally go, the sea is like 84 degrees, and it's that white crystal sand and that blue water. And no, it's amazing.
The Stand is saying Ocean went into Ernie's chat and called East Square a liar, called me a liar, said she knew for a fact there was all kinds of money made and she got cheated. I guess he's referring to Ocean Lover. I guess that's Ocean Lover there.
Well, yeah, but she also was unable to prove that, I think she had to show evidence to the police and couldn't come up with that. And, why she disappeared. Why'd she take her channel down? It's fairly obvious to me that, it was a kind of scam. And, we've seen it time and time again with Tamori, and it's sad. It's sad people do it because, people are more reluctant to give, when some people really do need it. I mean, I watched a video, I think it was by Jay Diaz, who's the person that Tamori was collecting money for, to go to Texas. And Jay Diaz got to Texas, and she put up a video yesterday saying it hadn't worked out. She'd been kicked out, and she was now in South Carolina. And I was like, I'd like to help her, but, it's the story. Again, you start questioning the story, which is sad, because it's made me, as I would normally try and help, I'm reluctant to do so now because I don't know whether to believe it or not.
Tina was asking, have we gone over Gaspari yet?
We did. Yeah, I met Gaspari in Rap's chat. I may have said hello. I've never met her in real life at all. She obviously, I think she's divorced. Her and her husband founded this nutrition company. I've since heard that she was on Real Housewives of Florida, but that's really all I know about her.
Okay.
I do not know her personally, as was rumored. Along with Jeffrey Epstein, and I was supposed to know well. I can assure you none of that's true.
Do you have a shoe phone? I'm just kidding.
A what? No.
Get smart.
Hmm?
Get smart. 007.
Yeah. Hmm?
You don't remember that?
I don't have any of that technology, I'm afraid.
He was still in England.
He's our age group.
No, I think was that gets. No, yeah,
smart.
Yeah. I do remember watching it. It was a long time ago.
Yes. Okay, let's see.
An Inspector Gadget. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Tina asks, have you spoken to Gaspari in real life? Did you really let her stay in your beach home?
No, and no. Which is my beach home? Miami. We have a house in Spain, but we don't have a beach house here. So none of that is true.
Okay. And then I believe Couponing with Donna says, I believe Jay Diaz is out there as well. Never seen her husband for one. And some of her story didn't make sense. I kind of suspected drugs.
Well, she did. Yeah, she did show her son. I mean, her husband yesterday briefly. She panned the camera to him to prove that she did. But yeah, if you look at her, you do kind of suspect things. But I don't want to accuse anyone of being on drugs without knowing for sure.
You did not know Epstein? Oh, we lost him. Where'd he go?
There he is.
Oh, okay. I don't hear you. Tell him to turn his volume on.
Do like this. Do like this, Cynthia.
I can't hear you. No. Maybe go back out and come back in. Throw him a link. Were you just trolling with Liz when you was talking about enjoying your beach home? Okay. What happened? Stop. Where'd he
We're
go?
waiting on him. I sent him a link.
Please stop doing that. There he comes. There he is.
Hi there.
Hey.
Sorry about that. That was my wife calling, so I'm going to be in real trouble
Okay.
for kicking her her call. Anyway,
Is it okay?
can you hear me?
Yeah, can you come back out to play with us?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've got time.
Okay, good. Tina is asking, were you just trolling with Gaspari when she was talking about enjoying your beach home?
I don't even remember her saying that, to be 100% honest with you, Tina. Are you sure? Are you sure it was me?
Yes, okay.
I promise you, I've never met Liz Gaspari. I've spoken to her a few times in chats, and that's it.
Okay, she said she has a screenshot of her thanking you for letting her stay there.
I'd love to see it, but if it was, it might be, fake, a fake conversation between the two of us. But I can assure you, I don't have a beach house unless you're talking about Spain. I don't have a beach house here in California at all.
Okay, I'm going back through the chat here and see if I've missed anything. I think I've got all the questions here.
So,
Well,
Tina, I can, as I say, I can assure you, I've never met, or even talked to on a phone to Liz Gaspari. Sometimes stuff is written in the chat. Like I think I wrote one time that I was tracking Ernie from his cell phone when he was in that truck stop in Texas, where he claimed he was in Texas, but he was actually in Kentucky. But I wasn't tracking him at all. I just figured out where he was.
okay, Tina says, to be honest, we were wondering if that's even the real Liz in chat.
I believe it is. I mean, if you click on it, she has a channel. If you clicked on it, she hasn't been around for quite a bit. But when she was around, she did have videos up, and there were, originally, obviously, Rap was she sent videos to Rap pretending that he was driving around in a Bentley, and lived in New York.
Okay, Tina.
So there was a lot of fake stuff going on that side, and obviously on both sides. Now we look back on it.
Okay, she asks, do you know a man named Ricky Dearman who lives in Malibu?
I don't. And she's asked me that before, I know. I don't know him at all.
She says, thank you very much for answering.
No, you know, I'm totally honest with you. I would tell you if I knew these people, but I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, I've had you here for an hour and a half, I guess.
Oh, no problem at all.
I hope you don't feel like you were interrogated. I hope you
No,
were.
I don't at all. No, it was very good. It was
Okay,
perfect.
good. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end my live now. And if anybody has, go ahead.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks for the questions.
Anytime.
And, you know, everything I've said has been truthful. I can assure you I'm not, you know, I've got nothing to hide.
I appreciate you again.
But thanks for having me, and see you on the streets.
Okay, thank you again.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Say goodnight.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoy the outro. Y'all have a good day.
How y'all doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing real good.